Hey guys, my name is Karen, this is Southern Ketovore, and today is the August wrap-up. So, I feel like there's a little bit of a weight off my shoulders, so let's do this. Alright, thank you guys for clicking on today's video. This is my final August wrap-up for my BBBE challenge that I did this month. Just to summarize, and kind of the backstory in case you're new here, I began following a ketogenic diet back in 2017, after, by process of elimination and a lot of self-testing, realized that I had developed type 2 diabetes. In addition, I had some other ailments. I was suffering with heartburn, chronic heartburn, and was taking omeprazole daily. I had chronic fatigue, lots of sleepiness all throughout the day, had to take naps every day, intense cravings, irritability, absolutely no confidence at all. I really was a difficult period, and there are times when I look back on, for instance, those earlier years of both of my children's lives, when without a doubt I had developed insulin resistance and was starting definitely with prediabetes, where it's kind of a haze. And there are times when I'm pretty sure my brain was on fire. And in retrospect, I should have seen some warning signs, but I didn't until a lot of time had passed. And I'm very thankful that I had a friend who planted the seed and suggested it to me. And that's where it began. So in 2017, I started following really a very clean, traditional ketogenic diet, very high fat, moderate protein. At the time I was doing net carbs. I stayed under 20 net carbs, and I had great success in the beginning. But I was eating whole foods. So it was meat, dairy, vegetables, a little bit of fruits and nuts. That was it. I was doing awesome. And we hit a slump a little while in, as life happens, and I let it go, and I slipped right back into my old habits and regained a little bit of that weight back. Felt terrible, and physically just in a lot of pain, back to not having any confidence, back to feeling like garbage all the time. So in 2021, I started back with a vengeance, started back on the ketogenic lifestyle. And when I did, I cleaned it up. I went to counting total carbs and saw really good success right away. Lost, yes, at that point I had regained about 20 pounds of what I had lost. And so I re-lost that 20 pounds, and I got back to about the same weight that I had when I had first done keto. So it's down to about 175 pounds. I'm 5'5.5", and my goal weight is 145 pounds to put me in a nice healthy weight range. But I kind of hit a wall at 175 and didn't know what to do, so I started kind of experimenting with different things. And like many people within the space, ended up being drawn more to the concept of high protein keto. Put a lot of focus on lean protein and started scaling back the fat grams, started scaling back the carbs even more, to where I was following a carnivore diet, but I was really still focusing a lot on lean meats, and my weight kind of fluctuated 5 pounds up and down. So I was bouncing anywhere from like 172 to 177, back and forth, really since the summer of 2021. It's about what I've been doing. So in comes a lot of talk within the community over the last couple months. Amy over at Carnivore's Angel has been a great advocate for this, for following more the traditional high-fat restorative version of a ketogenic diet. Dr. Annette Bosworth, or Dr. Boz, has been a champion for this for a long time as well. And so I started wondering if maybe I had done a little damage by going more high protein and kind of letting go of the fat, as obviously our hormones really require that fat in order to be in harmony. So I decided, kind of on a whim, actually, and agreed to putting myself on a BBBE challenge, the Beef, Butter, Bacon, Eggs challenge from Dr. Ken Berry, for the month of August. I set myself some parameters that I thought would be sustainable. So with that, it was going to be beef of any variety, butter, obviously, at liberty, bacon, eggs, and I did also include clean sausage, just because the protein to fat ratio is very similar to bacon, so I just found some that were the lowest carb possible, where sugar, if it was in the ingredients, was really far down on the list. So I did include that. In addition, I did keep my coffee in the mix. I also kept my homemade electrolytes, which is just the old school recipe for Ketorade, which you can find if you YouTube that. So I kept both of those, as well as sparkling water. But I did also challenge myself to eliminate diet soda and any kind of energy drinks, because I do kind of love sugar-free Red Bull. So that was the challenge that I set for myself. Simple, right? And the idea was to get myself back to a baseline, to feed myself lots of fat, and to also get control over the cravings that I've been struggling with for the last several months, where I really just had this uncontrollable desire for carbohydrates, even healthy ones. But once I would start with these things, even the healthy ones, things like avocados or berries or broccoli, I could binge on broccoli, you guys. Not normal. So I figured the BBBE challenge would be a nice way to kind of reset. So that's what I did. And today marks the end of the month. And I see why this is a popular thing and why it makes sense. I really do. So I'm going to go over my official results as far as my total weight lost, total inches lost. But first I want to share with you kind of how I feel now compared to a month ago, if that's cool. You can fast forward if this part's boring. But yeah, I have been sleeping incredibly. I wake up feeling pretty rested. I still drink my coffee in the morning, but I am not exhausted. After maybe 3 or 4 days, all of those cravings for ridiculous things were gone. I made a point in that first few days to just, if I started to feel even the slightest bit hungry, I just shoveled in fatty food, either eggs. I had hard-boiled eggs everywhere, bacon everywhere, anything just to have it on hand. And those first few days I just fed if I needed it, and those cravings were gone by like day 4 or 5. In addition to the cravings and the sleep, it was probably also about 4 or 5 days in that I started having an energy that I had not had since my original run on keto back in 2017. So at that point I was like, I wonder what my ketones are, because this feels like that. Felt like I had motors attached to my feet that were propelling me forward in general. It just felt easier to move my body. My joints moved freely without stiffness. I didn't feel my body. I didn't feel my muscles working. At work, I run a produce department. I'm constantly lifting heavy cases, and it was no effort to move around. It was no effort to lift these heavy things. And there were moments at work where I would sit there and I'm kind of like this doesn't feel like my body. I feel detached from it because it is moving so well. So that was pretty remarkable. I didn't have any kind of digestive upset or anything. I know a lot of people talk about loose stools or even constipation, but all of that has pretty much just stayed very normal, aside from being smaller movements and maybe not as frequent, but there was none of either the loose stool or constipation with that. I also didn't have any kind of withdrawals as far as headaches or anything like that as well. Like those did not occur. The only negative effects that I've had is in the very beginning. I think when I was really starting to kind of try to get my electrolytes in order, I did have a couple of days where I had some dizziness and shakiness, especially if I stand up too quickly. I would get that kind of spinny, tweet kind of feeling. But that was it was about 2 days. And so I upped my electrolytes, and that seemed to solve that issue. So I definitely assumed that was what that particular problem was. In addition to that, I also, starting from day one, actually starting from a couple of days prior to starting the challenge, I was testing my fasting blood sugar every morning, just to kind of get an idea of that. I was frustrated because prior to this challenge, I was still showing higher fasting blood sugars. You know, typically anywhere from 105 to 115 was my normal fasting. And that was frustrating. I feel like if you're not eating a lot of carbs, it doesn't make sense for it to be higher like that in the morning. So I decided to document it and see how that changed when I reduced my protein and upped my fat. And boy, did it change. I have my notebook, but I logged it every day, and it's crazy. So it was the day before I started, for instance, it was 107. Day 1, it was 109. Day 2, it was 97. And it never went over 100 again. Every single day it has gotten a little bit lower, to where now my fasting glucose every morning is in anywhere between 77 to 85 as a general rule, which is remarkable. That is not a typical type 2 diabetic fasting blood glucose. So I'm super excited about that. In addition, I also this past week started testing my blood ketones. Finally got some refills for my strips on that, and where on my previous times testing, which was probably about a year ago, the highest blood ketone levels that I could get was typically like 0.5, 0.6, and now I'm consistently testing anywhere from a 1.2 to a 1.9. So I'm definitely in a higher level of ketosis, along with having that lower, very stable blood sugar. And so without a doubt, my body is running well. I have a nice source of energy, and it's a sustained energy, and I feel really good as a result. So in that regard, obviously I'm feeling very, very accomplished. Even honestly, had I not had results with weight loss or inches lost, I would still be thrilled just by my blood sugar and ketone levels alone. So there's that. Okay, I know I'm rambling and we're almost at 15 minutes, so hang with me. Let's do my official results. So my starting weight at the very beginning of this challenge on August 1st was 176.8. Again, my goal weight is 145. 176.8 was my starting weight. And as of this morning, see if I can pull up my calendar, maybe, because now I've lost it. Okay, official weight today, 163.8 pounds. So in 1 month, eating nothing but fatty beef, butter, bacon, eggs, and a little bit of sausage, I've lost 13 pounds. And with that comes no macro counting or calorie counting. I just ate. I ate, as Dr. Berry says, until I was comfortably stuffed. And if I wasn't hungry, I didn't eat. And I lost 13 pounds in 1 month. And it wasn't all in the first week. It wasn't all water weight. It's been consistent. And that's huge, especially since I haven't lost anything since May of 2021. Inches are mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. All right, so I'm going to be turning back and forth a little bit. I'm going to get a little closer so I can make sure that I get all of this in for you. I did traditional measurements for a woman, so hang tight with me on this. I did my bust measurement, so that was 39.5 when I started. Today, 38.5, so I'm down 1 inch in the bust. Not always awesome, but I'll take it. My waist, I measured at the smallest, narrowest part of my waist, and at the beginning I was 33.25 inches. Today, 31.5 inches. So 1.75 inches off my waist. Then I measured my abdomen, so around my belly button, like love handle area, which obviously is a typical trouble spot for most women. That my starting weight, or my starting measurement, was 38.5 inches. Today was 36, so I lost 2.5 inches there. Then I did my hip measurement, so I did the largest circumference around my hips and butt. The start was 43 inches. Today was 40.5, so 2.5 inches lost there as well. My thighs I measured individually. One at the start was 27 inches, the other 26.5. So one dropped to 25, the other to 24.5. So I lost 2 inches off of each of my thighs. My calves I measured as well. The largest part of my calf, I started at 15.75 on my left and 16.5 on my right. Today, 15.25 on my left, down 1/2 inch, and 15.75 on my right, down 3/4 inch. Then lastly, I did my arms around the bicep, but relaxed with my arms by my side. Both of them were 13.5 at the start. Today, 13. So I lost 1/2 inch on each of my arms. So a total overall of 14 inches on my body. Listen, I know that my results might not be typical, and I know I'm just an ordinary person. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a major influencer. I'm not a fitness guru. I mean, listen, guys, the most exercise I do is I take a mile walk every day leisurely with my family in the afternoons. That's my exercise. That's all I do. I have a fairly active job in that I am on my feet during the day and I do some heavy lifting, but it's not hard manual labor. And I've had this type of response to doing this challenge. I am insulin resistant. I have type 2 diabetes in remission. I have struggled with my weight since I was in my early 20s. I have been insulin resistant since I was 18 or 19 years old. This is something that is still mind-blowing to me. It really is. If you're on the fence about it, I say give it a go. You don't have anything to lose. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Nothing, right? 30 days. You can do just about anything for 30 days. I feel incredible. Physically, I feel really good. I also have confidence, not just a confidence in myself physically and my appearance, because I feel confident because I'm seeing my shape return, and obviously that makes me feel good, but I am also confident in myself because I've made good decisions this month. I've stuck with something. I've been consistent, and it was easy. It was really, really easy. And doing something that was that simple, easy to stick to, it was easy to be consistent. And it turns out that I see great results and I feel awesome. I can't recommend it enough. I really can't. It's no wonder that Dr. Berry is as popular as he is. And it's no wonder that so many people just think the absolute world of him, because this is the kind of thing that changes people's lives. So, I'm going to wrap it up before I get emotional. But yeah, that's my 30 days, man. I'm still just like, it's crazy. It really is. So anyway, I don't mean to be solemn, but I'm outside and it's like 9 o'clock at night and I don't want to scream, but man, I feel excited and renewed and determined and disciplined and motivated to do big, big things. And yeah. So, BBBE results, man. Absolutely worth it. Those of you that decided to join me on this challenge, please let me know how it went for you. Please let me know weight loss, non-scale victories, anything that you've seen that has been awesome. I want to know. Please leave it in the comments. I would love to hear from you as far as how it went. Also, so many of you have been so interactive in the comments and messaging me on Instagram, tagging me on Instagram at Southern Ketovore, in case you need me over there. It's awesome to see what you guys are accomplishing. So I really appreciate y'all doing this with me and cheering me on, and also sharing your own journeys with me. It has been an absolute delight, and I'm excited to do another challenge soon. As a segue, let's go into September, shall we? I'm not doing anything specific for September. My plan is to continue what I'm doing. I am definitely staying dairy free. I feel like that was a big part of my success this month was removing dairy. So outside of butter, I'm still keeping that out. I also still have not had any desire or craving for soda or energy drinks. So I'll just stick with my black coffee. And those of you who suggested that I quit coffee for September as a challenge, it's not going to happen. That's just cruel. It's not going to happen. That's the joy of my life, other than my dog, which I'll post there because she's the cutest. Actually, she's the reason that I'm re-recording at 9 o'clock at night, because I tried to record this morning and she wouldn't stop yelling at me. Yeah, anyone that's ever heard a pit bull yell at you, yeah, they chirp. It sounds like a bald eagle. You can Google them. They sound exactly the same. Anyway, guys, thank y'all for tuning in for as long as you have for this long rambly thing. But I wanted to be sure that I shared with you not just my weight loss results, but also everything else, all the non-scale victories and the ways that this was just an awesome challenge. So, yes. Wrapping up August, moving on into September. September, gonna stay fairly BBBE. I am craving some shellfish, so I'm probably gonna have some shrimp, maybe some chicken wings, but I don't have any intentions of going crazy otherwise. Yeah. Additionally, again, staying off dairy, off of sodas and energy drinks, and yeah, I'm going to keep you guys updated. I'm still going to do my Monday check-ins as far as any results. And I'm also going to keep up with meal preps and grocery hauls too, so that you guys can see those as I continue with this journey, wherever it may lead. So thanks again for your support, and I appreciate it. I'll continue posting daily over on Instagram at Southern Ketovore. And until next time, thank you all for tuning in. Love you, mean it. Oh my gosh, like For once, I'm outside recording and the bugs are quiet and my husband's air compressor keeps kicking on. So many noises, man. The retakes are exhausting. Seriously. I'm just curious how many people can do these ring lights on like blinded by the light, and then you can go like, ooh, very blue or neutral. Ah, it's crazy. Okay. Bye.